Welcome to the Ebbs of History, the show where we dive into the strangest, wildest, and sometimes downright creepiest stories the past has to offer. From dancing plagues to pirate queens, you'll laugh, you'll gasp, you'll even groan at my impeccable dad jokes. But most importantly, we will learn how history is way cooler than your textbook ever told you.
We are your history-loving hosts, Zoe,
Gavin,
And I'm Jason, and in every episode, the three of us will take a quick trip through time and see what lessons we can still learn today. This is the Ebbs of History. Hey there, history lovers. Welcome back to another episode of Ebbs of History. We're so glad you're here with us today. So, how's everybody's week?
It was a pretty good week for me.
Good. What was so good about it?
I passed my permit test on the first try.
Oh,
so
yeah. Woo woo.
Pretty cool.
Gavin?
the Winter Olympics are going on, so that's very exciting. Big sports person.
What was your favorite one so far? Favorite competition that you've watched?
Well, my favorite, my second favorite sport is hockey, so probably that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like the ones I don't normally get to watch, like curling. There's luge and skeleton. We're gonna be watching bobsledding. Once it starts tomorrow, I think it is. Yeah.
We started watching the monobob today already.
Yeah.
So, cool. After last week's heavy episode, I decided to go with a lighter topic this week. Have you ever walked into a place and thought, this feels unsafe? Like a wobbly porch or a suspicious ladder or a chair that squeaks like it's filing a complaint with OSHA? Now imagine an entire city giving you that feeling. The whole city. Yeah. Palaces, marble, churches, art, tourists with gelato, the works. Because today we're talking about Venice, the city that is, very calmly and confidently built on water. Not next to water, not near water, not we have a waterfront district. No. Venice is basically a beautiful, historic, 1,000-year-old architectural magic trick happening in the middle of a lagoon. Part of your brain will keep yelling, how is this not a giant sinking bath toy throughout this entire episode? If you had to live in a city where the streets are water, what's the first thing that you would accidentally drop into the canal?
Like, what do you mean, like, accidentally? Or like, oh no, I accidentally dropped it.
Like you accidentally dropped it.
Probably like myself.
Yourself? Yeah, you
I would just
your
fall
whole
into
body?
the water.
Uh-huh. Zoe?
Probably my phone. I would just slip.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was going to say. The phone would be the first thing to go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. First, let's clear up a common misunderstanding. Venice is not floating like a giant raft. It's not like someone built a city on top of a massive pizza box and pushed it out into the water. Venice is built on islands, small, natural sandbars, and bits of land in a shallow lagoon. The Venetian lagoon is a protected coastal area between the sea and the mainland, with tides that move in and out. So there's land, but it's soft land. Soggy land. If land had the consistency of a wet sponge land. Which raises the obvious question. How do you build heavy stone buildings on a wet sponge without your city doing a slow motion glug 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 into the water?
I know. It's like they have like support beams going into the water, and then there's just like the ground that they built out of like wood planks or something.
Interesting. Yeah, you're going in the right direction for sure. The answer is you cheat ingeniously.
How dare they?
Here's the wild part. A huge portion of Venice is supported by wooden piles, just like Gavin said.
I knew it.
Long wooden poles hammered down into the muddy ground beneath the buildings. Picture building a skyscraper, but first you stab the earth with 1,000 spears. That's the idea, at least. The builders drove thousands and thousands of wooden piles into the mud until they hit firmer layers underneath. Then they built platforms on top of those piles, and then they built buildings on top of that. So under Venice, there's essentially an upside-down forest, wood posts packed tightly together holding up stone and brick. When you hear the city is supported by wooden poles, what part of your brain screams first? Genius or insurance nightmare?
Genius.
Genius?
Yeah, I'd probably genius. I like to look at the coolness, like, whoa, that's so cool. Not insurance.
So I know Chicago is kind of built like this
Yeah.
also.
It is?
It
Yeah, because they're
is.
right on the. Is it Michigan?
Lake Michigan, yeah.
Mm.
And it was very swampy there because of Lake Michigan, and they had to drive down everything into the rock bed. So that's how they started building skyscrapers. That's why Chicago was the first place to have skyscrapers, because they figured out a way to drive all the way down into the ground
So it's safe.
so that it's safe. And it's not wooden poles like it is in Venice.
Mhm.
There's like
It's
steel.
metal, steel.
Yeah. That's definitely a lot more like stable.
That's right. Now your brain might object. Wood in water rots, right?
Mhm.
Totally fair. But here's why it worked. Those wooden piles are mostly submerged in water and mud where there's very little oxygen.
Mm.
And rot-causing organisms usually need oxygen to thrive. So instead of rotting away quickly, the wood can last a very long time. Also, over time, minerals in the water can seep into the wood, helping it harden like it's been through a centuries-long turn into stonish spa treatment. And that is how you get a palace sitting on a bundled pack of underwater toothpicks. Except, the toothpicks are thick logs and there are a million of them. Okay, but why? Why would anyone choose Swampy Lagoon Islands as a location for a major city? Because danger makes people creative. Back in the early Middle Ages, after the fall of the Western Roman Empire, the Italian peninsula and surrounding regions were getting hammered by invasions and political chaos. Various groups swept through, and the mainland could be unsafe. Those lagoon islands, they were inconvenient, wet, and annoying, which is exactly why they were great for refuge. Armies with horses and heavy equipment don't love chasing people into shallow, marshy waters where you need boats, local knowledge, and the patience of a saint. So people settled there for safety. And then, because humans are humans, they did what they always do. They just stayed there and made it their own.
Because wasn't Venice like a hub for like during the Renaissance? Like it was like a hub for learning and hub for just like trade and everything because it had such a prime location, just little islands.
Both of you have touched on things before I got to them in my story today.
Let's go.
Good job, both of you. Good job.
Thanks, Mr. Fraser.
Venice grew into a major power because it became a trade hub, a middle point between Europe and the Eastern Mediterranean world.
That was one of the big things that we learned earlier on in my class this year because it was such a big hub for trading, and then it later became a hub for the Renaissance and all these new thinkers and painters and just new ideas in general.
So why Venice, though? Do you know?
Well, because of its prime location.
Prime location, and boats were highways.
Yes.
You know?
Mhm.
Venice had boats, and Venice said, we're going to become rich, cultured, and slightly damp.
And also, they had a really good climate as well. So it was just a good place to just hub, and kind of going back on your other point, just it's a good place to settle because it's kind of like here in Southern California. It's a Mediterranean climate. So it's like, it's not bad weather.
It's beautiful,
It's beautiful there. So like it's not like
There's
they're gonna get shipwrecked in Venice. Like
right. There's no snowstorms. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's practically like an island, so there's so much to study.
Yeah.
It's like a very inhabited island, you know? So around them, there's like, is it more of like a peninsula?
No, it's a lagoon. It's like a big swamp.
Oh,
basically.
okay.
Think of like New Orleans.
Now let's talk about daily life. Venice doesn't have roads in the way that most cities do. It has canals, aka water streets, bridges, narrow alleys for walking, and boats for everything else. Delivery trucks? Nope. Delivery boats? Absolutely. Ambulance? Boat.
That seems unconventional.
Right? Garbage pickup?
Boat.
Boat. Moving a couch?
BOAT.
That's right. All right, so now thinking about all that, the ambulance, delivery boats, garbage pickup, everything like that, what do you think the most annoying Venice version of a normal problem is? What's like the daily thing that you do that you would have to do by boat that you would think is the worst?
Just go to work.
Yeah.
Just like live.
Just living?
Like go to work or go to school.
Just trying to get anywhere. Like trying to get from one side of town to the other. Like you're gonna have to go on a boat.
Yeah, just going to the store. Like, yeah. And the canal system isn't just aesthetic, it's functional. Water access made trade, shipping, and movement central to the city's identity. But living in Venice also means you're living with something most cities don't have as a daily roommate: the tide.
Ooh, yeah, that old
Didn't even think
guys.
about that, did you?
Yeah, I didn't.
Sometimes the water rises enough that parts of the city flood. That phenomenon is often called aqua alta, meaning high water. So you can be walking to get coffee, and suddenly the city's like, surprise, now you need a boat for a narrow alleyway.
Yeah. I remember when we were in England and we had our first hotel. We were right next to the Thames, and I would wake up at night and look out and see that the tide had either like risen or lowered
Yeah.
so much.
Mhm.
Like it was crazy.
And what's crazy about the Thames is that it reverses course with the tide. So when it's a high tide, it's flowing
Oh,
west.
what?
On low tide, it's flowing east.
I did not
That's
know that.
interesting.
When you think about it, it's just,
Yeah, it
the
makes
water
sense.
rises and it's kind of like a, I don't know.
Like a scale, a weight.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense why it happens, but
Mhm.
I do remember that. Like, I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would see like water just up, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Excuse me?"
I
Mhm.
know a place that we could have walked during the day was completely submerged
Yeah.
at night.
Yeah. Over time, Venetians developed ways to cope. Raised walkways, special boots, architectural adaptations. But in modern times, rising sea levels and other changes have made flooding more frequent and more threatening. Which brings us to a big question. Venice has been doing this for centuries. What do you think Venice is more at risk of today than it has been in the past?
Like just having bigger tides and just
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
the whole city just going under because of the rising, just the rising seas all around the world.
Right. So we think about all their first levels.
Maybe
They're
like
going to flood way more often now than they
Mhm.
used to because they were built lower
Mhm.
when the tide didn't go up that high.
Yeah.
But now the tide is going even higher than it ever has in the past.
and maybe if like I'm not sure if this is like an earthquake zone, but earthquakes could happen, you know?
It is an earthquake zone.
Because
Oh,
they
okay.
could be right on a tectonic plate.
Mhm.
Just like
Yeah. And if there's an earthquake that could affect them way more than say it would us. You
Right.
know?
because they are on those planks and they are like they're not to the ground, they're on water and they're mushy, soggy
Yeah.
ground, so it's gonna hurt them a lot more than it would us.
Today, Venice is fighting a complicated battle, and it's basically a three-headed monster. First is sea level rise. When sea levels rise, high tides reach higher. That means more flooding more often. Second, the city has experienced subsidence, a fancy word for the ground sinks. Over long time periods, some sinking is natural in soft sediment areas. Also, historic human activity can worsen it. And finally, the lagoon is a dynamic environment. Tides, storms, erosions, and changes to waterways all affect Venice's stability. In response, Italy built a major flood barrier system designed to help protect Venice from exceptionally high tides. It's often known as MOSE, M-O-S-E, a system of gates that can be raised to block incoming high water during surge events. Would you rather trust a giant mechanical gate system or just redesign daily life around flooding?
The gate, probably.
Probably,
the
yeah.
gate,
Yeah.
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 It'd be a lot more convenient, I'll say that.
Yeah, humans don't like change, and this city is super old,
Yeah.
and they've been doing things the way they have for hundreds of years. And why not use new technology that you didn't have back when it was all built?
Exactly.
When was Venice like built?
Did I not say that in the beginning?
I
No.
don't think you did, no.
Just know it's really old because it was alive and thriving during the Renaissance,
Mm.
during the trade.
And when was the Renaissance?
16 some. I probably should actually. It's like it was a hub for the scientific revolution, which was like 1700s. Same with and then the Renaissance was there, and then the Enlightenment. It was all like centered around Italy.
421 AD.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's
Very old.
pretty old.
That's very old, the century. All right, but even with engineering solutions, Venice requires constant maintenance and careful planning. Because it's not just a city near the water. It's a city in a living, changing water world. Venice is basically a reminder that nature doesn't sign long-term lease agreements. Historiography. All right, historiography time. This is the part where we talk about not just about Venice, but how people have explained Venice over time. The Venice the Miracle narrative. So early on, for a long time, especially in older accounts, Venice was treated like a near mythic achievement. A city rising from the sea, a symbol of cleverness, order, destiny, even divine favor. This version leans poetic. Venice as the triumphant human victory over nature. All right. The next part, the Venice Empire narrative. Later, historians increasingly focused on Venice as a political and commercial machine, less fairy tale and more strategy game. This view highlights institutions, diplomacy, trade networks, naval power, and Venice's role in Mediterranean geopolitics. In this telling, Venice isn't just a miracle city. It's a well-run system, sometimes admired, sometimes criticized, built to manage wealth and power.
Just for clarification, were the Medicis from here? I'm not, or were they from like Florence? I can't
I think
remember.
they were from Florence.
Okay, so then I was just like trying to get this in my head just to see if there was any, like, if that family was from there to cement their powerhouse. Take it out. I just wanted to know.
The next portion is the Venice, the Environment Project narrative. More recently, especially with modern environmental history and climate concerns, Venice gets discussed as a long-term experiment in living with a fragile ecosystem. Historians and scientists ask, how did Venetians manage water channels and sediment? How did building and shipping reshape the lagoon? How did industry and modern development change the balance? And how does sea level rise change the entire story? This shift matters. The older story says, look at what humans can do. The newer story says, yeah, and look what humans must continuously do to keep it working. In other words, the story of Venice has gone from being told as a finished triumph to being understood as an ongoing negotiation with nature. And honestly, that's a very 21st century kind of problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, because if humans created the problem, we gotta fix it now.
That's right. So which version of Venice do you want to believe? Miracle City, Trade Empire, or Environmental Experiment?
Probably Miracle City.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because it's a mix of all three at this point. Because so much has happened through the city of Venice. You want to preserve it as the Miracle City. Because it really is an anomaly.
Yeah.
If you like step back and just not look at all of the tide problems and whatever, it really is, it's a marvel. A city built, and it's that old as well.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what's nuts.
They had the technology to do it, like, a long time ago.
Not only the technology, the ingenuity to think of something like that is crazy to me.
Yeah.
You know, you think of people in the 5th century back then, you know, kind of like the Dark Ages. You don't think they're all that smart, but that's so far from the truth. That's why they don't call it the Dark Ages anymore. Lessons we've learned today. All right, lessons learned. So what's the takeaway from City Built on Water? You guys got any insights?
Not really. It's just kind of really cool.
It is also cool, but if we have a city built on water and it relies so much on the sea levels, we just have to be aware of the sea levels and the changing of the sea levels. Like, it's definitely an environmental problem.
It's a bigger question about global warming.
Yeah, because it's not just for cities like Venice, it's for cities like New Orleans as well, because they're also swamp cities. Soon enough, they're both going to be underwater because just the rising sea levels.
Right. I mean, even Florida and California here where we are.
Yeah. Like, soon enough, like the Florida Keys, they're not going to be there anymore. Parts of Indonesia are going to be gone, and Hawaii, because the sea levels are rising and they're just little islands. Like,
Yeah.
We might not live on a lagoon where we live here, but we live on a big sandbar.
Yeah.
Same thing.
It's the same idea.
Same idea.
Yep.
All right, I got a couple here. Humans can adapt in jaw-droppingly creative ways. Venice wasn't built because someone said this seems convenient, right? They were in the middle of a swamp running away from armies.
Yeah.
It was built because people needed safety and opportunity, and they engineered a solution that seemed impossible. When the normal path is blocked, humans invent new paths, sometimes literally made of underwater forests of wood. Another one is maintenance is not optional. You know, it's Venice is beautiful because people kept caring for it, repairing the buildings, managing the water, rebuilding parts after flooding, adapting again and again. A lot of great achievements aren't about one big heroic moment. They're about the unglamorous grind of keeping things working on an everyday basis.
Yeah. If we just abandon it all of a sudden, not in a few hundred years, it would just collapse.
I think in Venice, even quicker than that.
Yeah.
Especially Venice. All right, Venice is a weirdly modern story because today we're asking questions like, where should we build? How do we protect cities from flooding and storms? And how do we adapt to climate changes without losing culture and history? And we can look to Venice and the history of Venice and things that they have done for answers.
Because everything that I've seen, it's still a very historical city.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just from everything that we've talked about today, it is just the roots of modern trade are in Venice.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, there's so many roots in Venice, and the city has done a very good job of preserving it, but also modernizing enough to keep it afloat.
It's time for the Fun Fact Challenge. All right, you guys know the rules. Let me finish my question. Lock in. Question 1. What is one major reason the wooden piles under Venice didn't just rot away quickly?
Locked in.
I think I heard Gavin first on that one.
You hate me.
We should
Oh, jeez. I'm not cutting that out.
How about rock, paper, scissors? I feel like
I
that'd
heard
be better.
you first.
Okay, yeah. Because there is no oxygen, and animals that vomit away wood need oxygen to survive.
The bacteria, that is correct. 1 point for Gavin. Question 2. Why did people originally settle in the lagoon area that became Venice?
Locked in. I know Gavin went first.
I heard Gavin, yeah.
I heard Gavin first, too.
Because they were being chased by people, like on like horses. They were being chased by people on horseback, and they were chased to this lagoon.
Okay.
So they built.
Zoe, what's your answer on that one? Because you're not wrong, Gavin, but you're also not 100% right.
It was a sanctuary for safety that no one was willing to go because it was basically a swamp. So.
Okay. We're gonna split that one. They were chased by armies there, and it was safety, but they were chased by men on horses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 1.5 points each. No, he's got 1.5. You've got 1.
No, she has half.
Half.
So if she wins.
Gavin's got 1.5. Zoe's got a half.
So Gavin wins?
No. If you get this,
that was question 2.
We'll do a tiebreaker.
That was question 2. I thought this was
no.
question 3. Never mind. Sorry.
Question 3. Name one modern challenge Venice faces today because of its location.
Locked in.
Gavin. No. Zoe.
Climate change and just the ever rising sea levels in the world.
That's right. Rising tides for sure. So we're tied, aren't we?
We are tied.
1.5, 1.5.
Yeah, we are.
All right. Closest to the pin question. I'm going to ask you guys a year. And the closest to the year, because I gave it, I said it.
Without going over?
Without going over. When was Venice founded?
Locked in.
Locked in.
You don't have to lock in. It's closest to the pin.
Okay, I got it.
I got it too.
Go for it.
421 AD.
Okay, we're still tied. Holy moly. All right. Now we're going to do another one, then another closest to the pin for the year. Okay.
Only year
I did not give this, but I want you guys to use deductive reasoning to figure out about when it came. Okay?
What came?
So remember I talked about the gate system that they used, the Moses gate? Or Mose, M-O-S-E?
Mm-hmm.
What year was that built?
Without going over.
Closest to the pin. So
okay, just whatever.
Yeah, just whatever.
Okay, so what year?
Mm-hmm. Think about it. Use your inductive, your critical thinking skills.
So it
it's new technology.
It goes
but
up to block floods.
Okay, not what it does, but when it was built.
Yeah, but that's what it does. So like I'm thinking about the technology.
Oh, I got you. Okay, yeah, no, good point.
Does it go up? Like, you never answered the question.
No, he made a statement.
Oh.
Okay, I got mine. I got my answer.
Okay.
I think I got my answer too.
Okay. I think you guys are going to be surprised by the answer, but go ahead, Gavin.
1995.
Okay, and Zoe.
I was gonna go 1920.
Oh, Gavin.
Oh,
I'm surprised by this answer, actually.
I won.
2003.
Really?
What?
Right?
I was about to go 2000, but I feel like the 90s would have been better for like a range.
Mm-hmm. They didn't build it until 2003. That seems way late.
Just
considering they had lock technology, like canal locks technology in the 1800s.
Yeah, that's why I went mine so early.
I would have too. I may have said 1800s.
I was
Really?
debating on going
Huh?
to the 18s, honestly.
Yeah.
But Gavin's made me go higher.
So you changed your answer, huh? No, just kidding.
Well, because like with the technologies of World War One, like
Yeah.
in that part of time, there was a lot of new developments. That's why I thought that would have been one of them.
Even World War II.
Yeah.
In the 50s.
In the 50s
Yeah.
and all the different advancements of technology.
2003. And, you know,
Put that-
rising sea levels have been a problem for way longer than
And, like,
2003.
Put that into perspective, like that's after 9/11.
Yeah. Yes.
Like,
oh my god, it is.
Mm-hmm.
like that's crazy.
You guys weren't born yet, but like it's not that far away.
But you
Yeah.
can put it into perspective.
You
And
were
Yeah.
born 7 years later, Zoe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Wow. What was the final score on that?
you won.
I know, but like, what was like the final score? So it went, we were 1/2. So then we tied on that question.
So it was you had
So it was-
3.5. I had 2.5.
Okay.
So we'll do it like they do in soccer. It was a tie game, but you won
the shootout.
the penalty shootout. The shootout, not the penalty shootout. This day in history. Today, March 5th. Anything you guys know happened? You probably don't know the actual date, but there's one big thing that happened in American history on March 5th. I don't think it's very well known, though. 1770. Okay. The Boston Massacre.
Oh, I didn't know it was then.
Yeah.
The massacre that killed like 2 people.
It was
Five?
5.
Was it
I
5?
think it was 5, yeah.
We should do an episode on that, the Boston Massacre.
Either way, not a
or the
massacre.
Boston Tea Party.
Yeah.
Either way, not a massacre.
Right. It was all, what
Like,
was it?
It was basically like a PR stunt.
It
right?
was. It was like propaganda after it happened. Yeah, for sure. British soldiers fired into a crowd of colonists in Boston, killing 5 people, including Crispus Attucks, widely considered the first casualty of the American Revolution. This event became a rallying cry for colonial resistance, with Paul Revere creating an influential, if propagandistic, engraving of the scene that inflamed anti-British sentiment throughout the colonies. So yeah, back in October, me and Mom went to Boston, and we were right there at where it happened.
Was there still bloodstains on the ground from the 5 people that died?
There was not,
Oh.
but it's a very, that whole corner is very historic.
Yeah.
It's not a corner, it's like 5 different streets that come into one, and that area is
It's
kind
a
of like a
5
hub,
point.
kind of like a 5 points. And it happened there, but there was also a building right there at that corner that the governor from the British governor of the colonies was in. So there was always a lot of protests happening there, and it was just a very, very historical corner of America,
Yeah.
right there in one spot. It was crazy.
Boston is a very historical place, like one
It
of the
is.
most historical American places.
Yep, that's where
Many-
the revolution started.
Yeah.
All right, 1946. Let me start with this. Zoe, you love the Cold War,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Do you know the term that was coined as the separation between basically the two sides?
The Iron Curtain.
The Iron Curtain. That is right. Is that what you were going to say, Gavin?
No.
No?
I was
The
Churchill.
Iron Curtain. You said Churchill?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I was Churchill for a little project last year
Oh, nice.
in history. So
Do you know anything about when he coined that term?
it was during a speech.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. And it was like an Iron Curtain has fallen over Europe. It was like, I think that specifically. Is that what happened today?
March 5th.
Oh,
Keep that in, please.
that was
March
special.
5th, 1946, Winston Churchill's Iron Curtain speech happened today. Crazy point. Zoe, do you know where it happened at? Where he gave this speech? This surprised me. That's why I want to bring it up.
Well, if it surprised you, I'm going to assume
Mhm.
like Berlin or something.
No.
Like,
Fulton, Missouri.
oh.
That is so random.
Right?
Yeah, I would have never pulled that.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, on this day in 1946, in Fulton, Missouri, former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill delivered his famous speech warning that an Iron Curtain had descended across Europe, effectively launching the Cold War era of Western consciousness.
There should be like a sports team that's like the Fulton Iron Curtain.
That's a good name. I'm not even going to lie right now.
The speech helped define the ideological battle between Western democracies and Soviet communism that would dominate global politics for the next 4 decades.
Ideological? Ideological?
Yeah.
You said ideological.
It's the same.
It is?
I'll say it again.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought it was a different term altogether.
The speech helped define the ideological battle between Western democracies and Soviet communism that would dominate global politics for the next 4 decades. Better?
Yes, thank you.
And the last thing I have here, 1933 on this date, FDR declares a bank holiday. Sounds innocuous, right? Just a bank holiday. People have the day off.
Yeah.
He declared a 4-day national bank holiday, closing all banks to prevent further runs and panic withdrawals during the Great Depression. This bold action, taken just 1 day after his inauguration, helped stabilize the banking system and restore public confidence, becoming a cornerstone of the New Deal's response to the economic crisis.
That's interesting.
Right?
Interesting.
It's a big move. He basically said, okay, banks, you're closed for the next 4 days so that nobody can take their money out.
Like first day in office as well.
Exactly.
It was a big, just really established who he was as a president, what he was going to do.
It really did. Set the tone for the rest of his, 4 terms as president. All right. Venice is built on small lagoon islands supported by wooden piles driven deep into mud, topped with platforms and stone, and then, somehow, turned into one of the most iconic cities on Earth. It thrived because of defense and trade, and survives because of engineering, adaptation, and constant maintenance, even as rising seas and flooding present major challenges today. If you ever visit Venice, take a moment on a bridge, look at the water, and think, under all this is a forest of ancient wooden poles quietly holding up history. Honestly, it's kind of inspiring. That's it for this episode. Thanks for traveling through time with us on the Ebbs of History. If you like today's story, share it with a teacher, a friend, or your family on Instagram at Ebbs of History. If you have any show ideas, corrections, or questions, contact us at questions@ebbsofhistory.com.
Signing off, this has been your co-host, Gavin,
Zoe,
and me, Jason, reminding you that history isn't just about dates and battles. It's about people, curiosity, and the weird, wonderful choices that shaped our world. Until next time, keep wondering, keep laughing, and keep learning through the ebbs of history.